Hey y'all, like I said, I was gonna go ahead and do a few little bit of calling tips. First of all of my diaphragms, I keep in one of these little pouches, and I keep them in the refrigerator. I think, like I showed y'all earlier. And what you do is when you get your diaphragms out, first part of the year, I take them out and I check and see, and if they're dirty, like that one, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's got some crap in it. I put them in hydrogen peroxide and just let them soak for a little while, and that cleans them right up. And again, some of these are old, and the reason I take such good care of them is you get the right sound out of them, and they're hard to find. Like, I can't go buy a $7 call to put it in my mouth and find out it's not what I like, because I use a lot of different calls. Like, I like some that are a little bit higher pitched, like a younger hen, because them toms, even, a lot of guys use this old raspy hen thing thinking that's it. Well, that old raspy hen's pretty savvy, and so those young hens are a little easier to breed. And I learned this from messing with them Osceolas in Florida, because like I said in that short I did, I killed 4 lambs, 2 with a bow and 2 with a shotgun. But anyway, so I get these things cleaned up, and then make sure, like to say, I haven't cleaned these up yet, but they're still good. Once they get cleaned up, they sound a little bit better. And go through all of them. That's one of my favorite ones right there, because it's just not as raspy. And this is actually one of my elk diaphragms. It's got a plate on it, but it actually works out pretty good. Because it's got that higher pitch to it. And I found over the years, like, I can have 5 diaphragms, and I can start with a box call, which is what I usually start with in the morning in a diaphragm. And what'll happen is you'll get a gobbler answering you, and he might just like that one call. Now, I'll switch around a little bit just to see, because there might be different toms coming from different directions. From where we hunt up here, they're kind of spread out. It's not like down in Florida, you'll have a group, like say a group of toms that'll hang out together, but they're kind of in one place, and they go, roost in one place. Where out here, you'll have a single tom roosted in a draw 200 yards from you, and you'll have another one a half mile away, and you'll have another one 3/4 of a mile away, and you have one right behind you. So if you use different calls, I'll try and figure out which one is working the best. And if I can get one of these diaphragm calls to work on 2 or 3 of those birds, it gives me an extra, advantage to getting one of those birds in front of me. So I'll play around with each one of those to see which one's working the best. So anyway, you get your diaphragms all cleaned up. And again, you could go buy one of those packs. They've got the pack of them that you could buy 3 of them in. And those are actually, like, pretty good option, because then one of those is probably going to work for you. And then on my box calls, when I get those out, I just change the rubber bands on them, because every year they get kind of messed up, and the rubber will deteriorate, so they'll break. So make sure you change these. Even if they look good, I change them every year. And then what I do to get ready with all this stuff, and I'll do it again in the morning, but this is just a eyeglass cleaning cloth. I put it in the middle of those, so when I'm walking through the woods, because I've got it in my backpack, it's not walking through the woods doing this, because you don't need all that racket. So I just take and shove this in there, and that'll keep that quieted down if I can keep them dogs quiet. But anyway, I take this and, take chalk. You can use white chalk. You don't have to spend the money for this. White chalk works just as well. It's just chalk. And then take the doggone call. And like I say, I'll do this in the morning. And then I just take the call and just, chalk it. And you'll see all the little shiny spots where it gets worn. But I do the whole thing. And the reason is because I use this call for gobbling. So I'll take this thing and make sure all the little shiny spots on there. You'll see it. You can't really see it on here, but you'll see it when you get up there. You want all those shiny spots kind of out of there, and you got to kind of work that chalk in there. But anyway, you get the chalk worked in there, and blow it off, and try not to spit on it and get it wet, but then it's chalked. And then I'll take and put it back together. As you can see, the rubber bands, they're put in there where they won't come off, or then I could just wrap them around on the little screw there. And there's calls I got out there that don't have the little screw things, the little eyes, you know, so you can do rubber bands. Like the spring in them is kind of loaded. And they're okay for just yelping and stuff. But again, not Tom Lynch, but Mr. Lynch was the man that built this box call. And that's how he taught me how to do it. Because him and my granddad were buddies, and I used to get to hunt with him when I was a kid. So I learned from some of the best turkey callers, because my granddad was one of them. But then I just kind of make sure it doesn't have any spots in it, or like that's kind of catching right there. But once I gobble with it, it'll kind of clean that call up. And to gobble with this thing, you just grab it like so, and that was kids. That wasn't a turkey. They're over there doing their track and field thing. So anyway, once you gobble a couple times with it, see, it kind of cleans it up. Now on this call, one side's a gobbler, one side's a hen. I usually just work the hen side. But if I've got a bird coming in and he hangs up, a lot of times I can like pick a fight. And I've done that on several occasions over the years where I get a bird hung up and it's a good tom, and you could tell. After a while, you get to where you could tell if it's a jake or a tom by their gobble. Not all the time, because I've had some jakes that sounded pretty badass, but most of the time when they get close, I can kind of tell what I'm working with. And then that'll, if I have to, I'll switch over and do a couple cuts with the tom side, because as you can tell, it's a lot deeper than the hen side. So anyway, I take one of these calls. This is the one I start with in the morning usually, because I can shot gobble with it. I can do a lot of things, and I'll have a diaphragm in my mouth, because if I get a bird that'll answer me in the tree, I'll start working him while he's in the tree to see if I can find one of these diaphragm calls that he really likes. Now, he might answer both. And the other thing is, by having a box call or two box calls, I obviously cannot use two box calls at the same time. But what I can do is I can take the diaphragm call, and when I do a tree call in the morning, when the hens first are coming out of the trees, they'll call in the tree, and then they'll hit the ground, and there's a little different call for that. And I'll do another video after this one kind of explaining how I actually go through my sequence when I start in the morning, whether I'm hearing a bird or not. But anyway, I could do a tree call. And then follow it up immediately with the diaphragm. So what I'm doing there is, it sounds like two hens in the tree are coming out of the tree when they hit the ground, and I can grab another diaphragm and do another hen, so it sounds like I'm a flock of hens. And when them birds are in the trees, or they're, you know, just getting on the ground, the toms or the jakes even, and they hear that, they're like, oh crap, there's a whole bunch of hens over there. And that works in the whole season. In early season it works, but in the later season it actually works even better, because you've got hens that have already bred that have broke off with a group of hens, and they've gone and started nesting. So all them toms and those jakes they're trying to find that hen that still hadn't been bred. So if I do later in the season, like our season lasts a month, but that last 2 weeks, when I'm doing this, a lot of times it'll really get those birds, and they'll come running. Out here in Idaho, I've had, I don't know, 5 or 6, and I had 4 that were in the tree. They hit the ground running, and within 7 minutes we shot the bird. And that doesn't happen very often. But so that's how I kind of get started, and that's a little bit about these calls. And then, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and stop this so it's not 30 minutes long. And y'all can like and subscribe. Again, I've been doing this a long time. I'm not saying this is going to work every time, all the time, but I usually can get a bird in, especially if I sit out there till 1 o'clock, because something will happen when a bird will come by and I can get him to come in. And again, I just like calling in birds for people, because I've shot a lot of turkeys, and you know, it's just more fun to call it in, especially like I got a buddy of mine whose wife's 8 months pregnant, so she's been wanting to start hunting. because he hunts, but she doesn't. And we figured turkeys was a good thing to start her on because she could shoot my 410. I got one of those little Stevens, and those things are bad. And boy, that's a good little gun because it doesn't weigh anything. It's not like I'm carrying a Versamax in there on my crossbow, and it's just an awesome little gun, especially for her because she's 8 months pregnant. So I just had my hips replaced, so the two of us are going to kind of meander in there while Dallon's going to have to, or Devin's just going to have to go ahead and head on in and get the decoys set up. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. I'll do another one here in a second about how I actually like call and get these calls kind of worked in so I can call for you a little bit. I hope this helps you all out. Again, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I'm not perfect at it. I don't call in a bird every time, but hopefully there's something in here that you might find that'll help you all out this season. And one thing, remember, God bless you all, and be safe out there. There's a lot of people out there. Remember, don't wear red. Always be sure of your target, or what's behind it, because I saw a thing the other day where some guys in Mississippi, I think it was, got shot at and got hit, and nobody got hurt because somebody heard them calling. There were two of them sitting there, and they just shot at the sound, and luckily nobody lost an eye or anything. But y'all be safe out there, because remember, it's still, you just got to be careful. So again, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon.